Hello students, and welcome to the CompTIA Tech Plus exam course brought to you by Third Level Technology. I'm your instructor, Jim Herbie. In this episode, we're going to continue in Module 4 of the exam objectives and discuss Section 4.2. Our topic is data types. Let's begin.
In this section, we're going to discuss the most common data types that we use within our IT computer programs. You should understand the 5 most common data types and their most common characteristics. They are characters, strings, integers, floats, and Boolean. We're going to discuss each one in order. Our first data type is a character. A lot of times you will also see this abbreviated as char, C-H-A-R. A character will be any single letter, number, or symbol that we use within a computer program. Within your computer programs, you can identify specific characters using the char, C-H-A-R abbreviation. And this will allow our computer program to understand that we are going to give a specific value to a single bit of data. We use characters to do a process called declaring or declare. When we are doing a declaration or declaring a character in a program, we are assigning a specific character to what's called a variable. A variable is the name that we give to a specific character. So for example, in a computer program, we can use the char abbreviation, C-H-A-R, a space, and then the variable $sign. Then we can use the equal sign and then put the individual symbol for money, which is the S with a vertical line through it, to indicate that within our computer program, anytime we see the $sign character, it will correspond to that specific character that we distinguished as $sign. And we can use characters to assign different variable values to each individual character that we can use within our programs. With characters, we can also use a feature called indexing. Indexing is when we can identify a specific character within a longer sequence of individual letters, numbers, or symbols. So for example, if a computer program has a character that is identified by the variable number, we can use indexing to identify specific numerical values depending on its location in the larger number. Character indexing allows us to identify specific individual bits within a single character that has larger numerical values. Our next data type is a string. You may also see this referred to as a data string. And data strings are when we have multiple characters in a specific sequence. There are 2 types of data strings that we use within our computer programs: constants and variables. Constants will be a data string whose value cannot be changed within our program. It will remain constant or the same throughout the entire program code. Variables will be data strings whose value can be changed or modified within the program code. A very common example of a variable data string are mathematical equations. So for example, if you have a mathematical equation of x plus 4 within your computer program, that is an example of a variable data string because the value will change depending on the value that we assign to the variable x. Data strings allow us to query specific individual strings by returning values such as a data string's length. We can index individual characters, as well as the data type that appears within the data string. Within your data strings, you can have letters, numbers, or special characters. These are the symbols you see on your keyboard. Our next 2 character types are numerical data types: integers and floats. An integer is a numerical data type that represents whole numbers. Integers will not display or calculate any decimal or fractional value. Integers can be either positive or negative values, as well as the value of 0. We commonly will display integers within a computer program using the abbreviation INT, that's short for integer. We use integers typically within our mathematical formulas and equations, and we use them commonly with other mathematical symbols such as plus minus, greater than, less than, or equal. If you have any type of decimal or fractional value inside of an integer value in your program, it will automatically be dropped off, and you will only display the numerical whole number value of each integer. Now let's contrast that with a float. Float is short for floating point number, and floats are data types that allow us to represent a numerical value with decimal and fractional values. When we are creating a float within a program, we can create a limit on how many decimal places that we can calculate both to the left and the right of our decimal point. So for example, if we create a float and then inside of a set of parentheses, we create a value of 2, 2. What this means is that we will be able to display numerical value for 2 places both to the left and the right of the decimal. So in this example, we could display a numerical float value in both the ones and the tens column to the left and the 10th and 100th columns to the right, our decimal or fractional values. And then we can adjust how many different numerical digits can appear on each side of the decimal through the parameters that we identify in each float within our programs. And our last data type is a Boolean value. A Boolean value is a data type that we use with binary values or binary notation. This is where we have a notational system that only uses 2 different values, 0 and 1. 0 gives us a value of false. 1 gives us a value of true. With Booleans, we can create what are called comparison operators. This is where we can compare 2 or more different values and set conditions on them to return either a value of true or false. So for example, we could create a Boolean command that says, return a value of true if both A and B are odd numbers. If A and B are both odd numbers, we will return a Boolean value of true or 1 because we have met both conditions. If either one of those numbers are even, we will return a value of false. We use Boolean very commonly in mathematical equations where we are determining if a numerical value is greater than or equal to another.
That will conclude our discussion of Section 4.2, Data Types. In our next episode, we'll move on to Section 4.3 in the objectives, and our topic will be Programming Concepts. We thank you again for following along in the episodes in the course, and wish you best luck in your studies. Enjoy the rest of your day.